guys, welcome to K-Fits My Life, and this is going to be a quick video, but hopefully it'll be very informative. I'm going to show you guys how I increased my credit score from a 500 to a 740 in 8 months. Alright, I'm just going to get straight to it. I'm not going to beat around the bush. Let's get to it. The first thing I did was I went to annualcreditreport.com. Just go to their website, sign up, and you'll get one free copy of your credit report per year. You can either print it out or just download it and save it, look at it on your computer and print it out later. This is what I always did. I always just downloaded it and printed it out later. So that's step one. Go to, not free annual credit report. Go to annualcreditreport.com. All right, the second thing I did was, once I got my credit report, I looked at it to determine which items I needed to pay and which items I was going to try to let just fall off of my credit report. After 7 years, any item that's on your credit report will usually just fall off. So most of the items that I needed to pay had already fallen off. There was one item left that would have taken 2 years to fall off, and I didn't want to wait that long. So I went ahead and paid that item. Now here's the interesting thing about that. When I went to pay the item off, you actually have to make sure you try to negotiate with how it will be stated on your credit report that it was paid off. If they just mark it as paid, or that they made an agreement with you or something like that, that will still reflect negatively on your credit score. So if at all possible you want to try to negotiate with them to just totally wipe it off your credit report, which is what I did. When I went in, I talked to the person there and I asked her, would you guys be willing, if I paid this in full right now, to completely remove it from my credit report? And she asked me, she said, are you trying to buy a house or something like that? And my initial reaction was to just say, yeah, I'm trying to buy a house. Even though I really wasn't, but I thought initially that would be a good thing to say. But then at the same time, I thought, well, what if this person is a hater and she doesn't have a house and she sees me trying to buy one and my ability to buy a house is in her hands? So I decided not to say that I was trying to buy a house. I just told her, look, I'm getting older and I really just need to have good credit. I feel like I've gone with bad credit too long in my life, and I just want to improve myself some. And hopefully, you know, paying this off will be a step to me being a better person and looked at better credit-wise. So I just kind of wanted to throw myself at her mercy for a little bit, because I guess one thing you have to do too is you're going to have to let your ego drop a little bit and do what you have to do in order to improve this situation, all right? So the second thing I did was I wanted to make sure that the items that would have fallen off were gone, and the ones that I didn't want to wait for, I paid off. Now, after I did that, here's one thing you need to realize as well. When I paid that off, at that time I didn't have anything at all on my credit report. It was like I was 18 and had no credit. So my score went from being a 500 to nothing. And when I looked at my credit report, it said that I had what was called a thin credit profile, which means I didn't have any credit. So at that point, I was basically rebuilding everything from scratch. Now, some people will say that you shouldn't do that. You should leave some items on your credit report because it adds to the length of time that you have credit, which I understand that. But I was just in a hurry to get everything off and start completely over. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have paid that last item. But hindsight is 2020. So that's that. All right, so the third thing I did, I went to a website called OpenSky. I'll put a link to that also down here. OpenSkyCC.com. OpenSky is a secured Visa credit card. So what you do is you open an account and they'll ask you to deposit a certain amount of money into the account, which will be your credit limit. I did $200. You really don't need to do any more than that. I've told some of my friends about it and they're like, yeah, I'm going to deposit about $500. That's not necessary. All you need to deposit is about $200, all right? About a week later, you'll get your Open Sky Visa credit card. Your credit limit will be $200. Activate it. There you go. The next thing I did was I did the same thing with Capital One. I opened a Capital One secured card, right? Same process, went to Capital One's website. I'll put a link to that website in the description as well. And I deposited $200 into the account. A week later, I got my Capital One Visa card and $200 credit limit. 2 secured credit cards. All right, there you go. Now what do? What I would do is I would put an amount of money on my credit cards, and then I would pay it off immediately. Pay it off immediately. Charge something like gas, pay it off. Charge something, just anything that I want to buy, I would charge it to my card and pay it off immediately. All right. Now, another thing you want to do when you get these secured cards is you want to call the number on the back. There's an 800 number on the back of the card. You want to call them and ask them what date they report to the credit bureaus, okay? Now, most people will pay their credit cards by the due date, right? So let's say your card bill is due on the 25th, and you pay your card on the 25th. So every month you're like, yep, pay my card on time every month. Great. Actually, what you need to find out is the date that the card reports to the credit bureau, okay? Because what will happen is if they report to the credit card bureau or the credit bureaus on, say, the 20th, and you pay your bill on the 25th, right? So let's say you had a $100 balance on your credit card. On the 20th, they report to the credit bureau that your balance is $100. On the 25th, you pay that $100. So you look at your account and you think, oh, 0 balance. But according to the credit bureau, you have a $100 balance, right? And that balance is half your credit limit, which also reflects negatively on your credit report because you don't ever want to spend more than a third of whatever your credit card balance is, just as a rule to keep your credit score high. So what you have to do is you have to call the credit card companies and ask them, what date do you report to the credit bureau? They'll say, oh, we report on the 20th, right? So then you'll always want to pay your card on the 20th. Pay your entire balance or whatever it is on the card, pay it off on the 20th, right? Now, once you pay that balance, don't use that card for about 5 to 7 days because sometimes it might take them a while to report it to the credit bureau. It might take the credit bureaus a while to update your account. So if you pay on the 20th, then for some reason you just get it on the 23rd and they haven't updated the system yet, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot because it's going to put the balance right back on the credit bureau's systems, right? So find out your credit card date that they report to the credit bureaus, pay it on that date, then don't use a card again for about 5 to 7 days, all right? The next thing I did was I went to a company called selflender.com. I'll put that link in the description also. What Selflender is basically what you would call like a CD or a certificate of deposit. And what you do is you sign an agreement with Selflender to say you're going to be having a loan basically for $500, but you don't get the money. The money is put into a certificate of deposit in your name with another bank, right? So every month you pay $50 toward your certificate of deposit, okay? And they'll space that out over the span of about a year, okay? So every year that you pay on that loan, on that certificate of deposit, they report to the credit bureau that you're paying your balance on time, which is just another account to increase your reliability credit-wise, okay? So the good thing with Selflender, though, is at the end of that 12-month term, your CD matures and you can get that money back. Or you can choose to continue to do another year. I've always gotten my money back. So Selflender, really easy. You just sign up and then you'll start making you'll make like an initial payment to start your account. And then every month after that, it's just your payment will depend on which amount that you want to do. I did the $500 one. I think they have a 500, a 1,000, a $1,500. I only wanted to do the 500, but that reported every month to the credit bureau, which brought my credit score up, in addition to the other 2 secured cards, right? So the next thing I did, and at this point, I'm already in, say, August, and I started in December. So December 1st of 2016 is when I started repairing my credit. By August of 2017, my credit score was a 740. All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about was just because I started my own real estate investment company, and I wanted to increase my credit enough to start purchasing properties, right? So when I went to my bank, one of the things that the banker told me was that it's good to have about at least 5 items on your credit report that are in good standing, that are reporting every month, and that will help you be able to get a mortgage. Okay, so at this time I had 2 secured credit cards and my self-lender account. So I only had 3. So the banker said, okay, well, let's help you out. Let's look at your credit score. And you looked at it and he's like, okay, 740. Great. Good credit. Let's go. I was like, yes. So the bank issued me another credit card in the name of my bank. This one was an unsecured credit card. So once your credit score goes up a certain amount, you'll be eligible to start getting secured or unsecured credit cards. And unsecured means you don't have to put any money down. They just give you a credit limit, right? So my bank gave me my first unsecured credit card, and it had a $1,500 limit. And he told me, you might want to use this card over your debit card because you're going to have 1 year, no interest. And there's also points with this card. So you can go on our website and you can get money back, or you can get trips, or you can get, items that are worthless, basically. But anyway, being able to report to your credit bureau on that card as well, that you use it and you pay it, was just another item that will boost your credit score. So go to your bank, see if your credit, once your credit becomes high enough, go to your bank, see if you can get another credit card. And this is only because I want to start purchasing properties, right? So I already gotten my business, LLC, all that stuff. Normally I wouldn't use credit anymore, but in order to establish a higher credit score, I just had to do this so that I could start purchasing properties. So once I got the other card from my bank, that was 4 items. So the banker also told me, he said, well, it might be a good idea for you to have a car note or something like that, because at that time I was still driving my 95 Integra and it was paid for. So I guess either fortunately or unfortunately for me, depending how you look at it, the Integra broke down for the last time about 2 months later from that, 2 months after that conversation. So I was very tempted to just go ahead and pay cash for a car like I always have done. But I went ahead and said, okay, I guess I'll have a car note. And so I've never really had a nice car. If I'm going to have to pay a car note, I'm going to get a nice car. So having 4 items on my credit report, having a high credit score, I was able to get a pretty nice car with a very reasonable note. So now having those 5 items on my credit report, being reported on time every month, it's boosted my credit score even higher than 740. So if you have any questions, I know everyone's going to have their own way of doing this. People are going to say that you shouldn't use credit. Some people are going to say that they have their own ways of things they've learned to do it, and that's great. That's fine. I'm just sharing how I improved my credit score. So if you have any questions, feel free to put it down in the comments. If this video has been helpful in any way, please like, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? Peace.